Thanks.
Okay, thank you. So this is the, the beginning, obviously USA Softball Clinic. My name is Tom Keller. I'm the state umpire in chief. The agenda, typically we would do these things. We're going to go past a couple of them. We are not going to do introductions. We're going to do look at some of the rule changes in slow pitch. Obviously, we did not have a new rule book or 2021 rule changes. They're all 2020 changes. We're going to look at, we did have some umpires take the 2020 umpire test last year. And I always encourage our umpires to take the test. Not only is it good that it gets us into the rule book, but it also lets me, our staff, know what areas we might need to train on more. If we got a bunch of incorrect answers on a certain topic, we can train on that the next year. We'll open up for questions. And then, like I said, as we had the conversation at the beginning, we are going to look at registering. A couple of slides on that. So, like Dan said, we'd like to thank you for what you do for USA Softball. If I can ask that if you have any friends, neighbors, relatives, anybody, somebody maybe if you played softball, an ex-player, might be interested in umpiring, reach out and see if you can convince them to umpire. We definitely need some more umpires. So this is the address of our office in Medina. Dan is housed out of that office. He has some equipment, or actually uniforms, some shirts and things like that. Maybe before you head there, it'd be well worth it to contact him to see if he is there and if he has what you might be looking for. We'll get into the rule changes. This is basically the new stamp that they have on some of the softball bats. We just want to make sure it has a USA Softball or ASA as it did before the change on it. It just adds 2 additional certification marks. Softballs, same things. And I always preface all these rules by saying these rules are for national championship play and or state tournament play. What some of their leagues do can be modified. So leagues may not be using a ball that says USA Softball on it, but the bats need to have it on. Okay. If you guys have any questions as I'm going along, why don't you just throw in the chat, and then once we get a break, I'll take a look at them and we can address them then. Here is a rule that says any defensive player or offensive player may wear a helmet at any time, and helmets shall be a non-glare or a non-mirror-like surface. Now, that specifies that the helmets cannot have a surface that has a mirror-like finish. I would really caution leniency on this. The only time I would ask or require a pitcher to take off a helmet or a face shield is if it definitely interferes with your vision or the batter's vision. We may see some helmets or face shields that could affect our vision, but if it doesn't, I think I would stay away from it. This is they cleaned up the penalty when discovered using an altered or a non-approved bat after completing their turn at bat before the next pitch, legal or illegal. Batters out, ejected. And if in a tournament, they may be subject to further penalties, and all out stand on that. Now that's a severe penalty, and keep in mind that's an altered, meaning it has been changed from original. Whether it is an end cap that you can tell has definitely been taken off or put back on. And then the non-approved bat would be something that is not on the approved bat list. So, and the last one is all runners return to the base occupied at the time of the pitch when that happens. So it aligns the penalty for altered or non-approved bats with the penalty for an illegal bat. Better defines where the runners who are not out should be placed. This is a change to the Men's slow pitch maximum distance of the fence is 325 feet now. And basically it went from a maximum of 315 to 325 feet. This is a rule change in the co-ed classification. It allows one courtesy runner for each gender in each inning. Now remember, our USA softball courtesy runner up to this rule change was one courtesy runner per inning. And that really wasn't fair in the co-ed game because you would only get one gender. Here you have one for each gender. So it allows two courtesy runners and allows co-eds. Courtesy runner is officially in the game after pitch, legal or illegal, or a play is made. And that defines when a courtesy runner is officially in the game in adult slow pitch classification of play. That applies to when you can take them out and things like that, or when they're in the wrong spot. In the two umpire system, if you are fortunate enough to work a two umpire game, or if maybe in playoffs or something, I know a lot of our slow pitch is still worked with one umpire, but if you were in the two umpire system with no runners on base, the base umpire will start on the line in foul territory, 18 to 21 feet behind first base. You remember in the two umpire mechanics before, we would put that umpire behind the second base person. And with the 5-person infield that most slow pitch teams play now, that umpire can really get pushed back. So with nobody on, we're going to start on the base. So you know, you're in a better position. Obviously, when we get somebody on first base, you're going to rotate. So you're going to end up in that position anyhow. But at least with nobody on, you'll get a little bit closer to the action. So, and those are the rule changes. So in slow pitch in 2020/2021, USA softball did not have a whole lot of rule changes. So we're going to go through a few things just as far as what you have for softball umpire opportunities. We have national umpire schools, we have slow and fast pitch advanced camps, we have state umpire schools, local clinics, which you're attending a version of. We have cadet umpire trainings. Typically those are young girls or boys that are starting the fast pitch game. And we offer some discounts on registration and try to get them started so we can get our umpire base filled, you know, for the next generation. We have postseason opportunities with national tournaments, regional tournaments, and state tournaments. We'll go through some of those specifics as we go. We have in North Mankato this year, we had a national umpire school. The next time we get one in our state or region, I would highly encourage your attendance. What a national umpire school is we have some national staff come in and assist our local staff with training on topics that the national staff has put together. So it's a good training. And not only is it you know, good training, but you also get to meet some of the people that have decision-making power. What I'm trying to say is if you're an umpire that wants to maybe work national championships, name recognition is a good thing. If you can, you know, the national staff sees you, works with you, you know, it might be a little easier to get to that next level. On our website, we have the requirements for being an umpire. Clinic attendance is a yearly requirement. Do I believe every umpire gets to a yearly clinic? No. But we strongly recommend it. You know, that way we can get new information to you. And we're starting to focus our clinics on, you know, maybe slow pitch, fast pitch, or both, so you know which one might fit you the best. Here are our state championships in slow pitch. We've got co-ed, men's, women's. There's our fast pitch. We also do have a little bit of JO girls slow pitch. And then we have national championships. And again, I will talk about those a little bit later. Here is the state tournaments. We've got the men's over 35 at the end of July, beginning of August in Brainerd. The women's tournament is again the same weekend in Brainerd. Got the men's open beginning of August in Hanover. The men's D North is in August in Bemidji. The men's C is in August again in Faribault. Men's E-Rec North is at Park Rapids. The men's D South is Prairie Island. Men's E-Rec South is Rochester. The co-ed open is Oak Grove. And then we've got a fall open and co-ed. If you as an umpire have a desire to work state tournaments, contact me and we can make sure you're ready to do that. And you know, we always need umpires. So I would encourage you, if you have that desire, to get a hold of me. These are the Northern Nationals we have in our area. We have a men's E-Rec slow pitch Northern National, and that is September 3rd through the 5th in North Mankato. In our region, which is Region 8, and that's made up of North Dakota, South Dakota, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Minneapolis. We have in Bismarck, we have a men's D slow pitch Northern. In Sioux Falls, we have a co-ed C and D slow pitch. And this is last year I just want to show you the umpires that we were able to get assignments across the country. And it's not to brag about these umpires, it's just to show you what opportunities are out there. So in Oklahoma City last year, we sent 3 umpires to the A and D. In Oklahoma City, we sent 1 umpire to the men's C. The women's slow pitch in Henderson, Tennessee, we sent 2 umpires. In Mankato, we had a men's D and E slow pitch, and we had several umpires go down to that one. And I guess that was the end of it. So the next item that, as we're cruising through here, is our medals program. You can read that it costs $25. The umpire receives a cap, certificate, and a pin symbolic of the level. These are the different levels with the years attached to it. Now, our commissioner, who you met, Dan Pfeffer, is kind enough to pay the cost of those. So if you qualify for these awards and would like to get, presented the award, again, contact me and I can get you the application and we can process that award. The next level of awards is the National Indicator Fraternity. It's a years of service and national championship assignments. Again, our commissioner will take care of the cost on all of these. The top level USA umpires can get an elite umpire award. Again, it is years of service and national championships, and they have to be in certain championships of the highest level. And then we also have a WBSC certification, which stands for World Baseball Softball Confederation. And it's for international competition for both slow pitch and fast pitch. That is where the umpires will come from that are working the Olympics. The reason I bring this up is the only way you can get to be a WBSC umpire is to be a USA softball umpire, attain your elite, and then apply for WBSC certification. There is a program that came in 2018. It's called Blues Across America. This recognizes an umpire of the month. There's several of them. From each month, they go from odd regions to even regions. So this month, I need to submit a couple of our umpires for this award. What I do is I ask our deputy UICs, our signers, people that run the leagues to get me pictures of umpires that are in the correct USA softball gear and umpiring. And then we ask those umpires to give us a short biography, and then we submit them. So there's another thing that I'd like to get more of our umpires involved with. This one doesn't really depend on the number of championships or how many years you've worked. All it does is award you for what you're doing both on and off the field. And this is the last one we had, January 2021. Jason Smith is our Minnesota lead umpire scheduler. And he has worked a ton of fast pitch, and he also does a great job with our young umpires getting them trained. So here's another big benefit that we don't always think of unless we need it, the insurance coverage that we have with USA Softball. So, you can read the limits. Part of your registration also gets you an umpire rule book. I am going to again ask you for another task. If you did not get a rule book in 2020, why don't you throw that in the chat for me, and then I'll need your name and put your address in too. I might be able to look it up, but put your name and address so I know I will get it to the correct person. So, because once we can get you registered and paid, we'll get that rule book to you.
Tom, quick question.
Sure.
This insurance coverage, does this cover your park and rec leagues, or is this just tournaments?
It does cover some of the park and rec. The best advice would be is once you get your rule book, take a look at the insurance number in there, and then I would confirm with them, just so you're sure. It does cover some other stuff, but I can't give you 100% answer on that. And then it also, there's also some coverage on travel too, if you're going to a USA Softball approved game. So
what was that question?
Go ahead.
What was that question? I'm sorry, it was insurance.
It was, does it cover like other park and rec stuff?
Well, I believe that if the teams are registered USA Softball and the umpires are registered USA Softball, then the league director falls underneath the USA Softball umbrella policy. Was that question from Phil?
Yeah, it was. I was just curious to know if our guys will be covered when they're out doing our leagues.
When they're out what?
They're out umpiring our leagues in Hastings, so I was just curious.
Yeah, for sure they are. They've got medical insurance and liability insurance.
Perfect, thanks.
Yep.
Thanks, Dan.
You bet.
And keep in mind, these are, that comes right with the registration. So it's almost like a freebie. So I did talk about the umpire exam a little bit in our new registration software. It is a segment of there where you click on take umpire exam. It is an open book test, and I again strongly encourage it. Like I said, it gets you into the rule book. It sometimes we don't know what we don't know, and it can make your game a lot easier on the field if you've got a broader base of knowledge. There is a code that you need to get into that test, and that code is 1332. We do have that on our website, so you would be able to go back and reference that. But again, I would strongly encourage you to take that exam. We have a mechanics and positioning guide that is online. If you haven't taken a look at it, I would strongly encourage it as well. What you can do is there are some scenarios where if you look at positioning, let's say even on a one umpire game, you want to know how you cover second and third on a triple or something. If you go in there and you see a red video, kind of a link, click on that link and it actually gives you a, it'll show you the movement on it. So I think it's really good. Why don't you take a look at that when you can. This is an old slide, but I just wanted to point out what we want to do or what we have for equipment. Obviously, the person in the picture is a fast pitch umpire, but if we look on the left, we still need a powder blue or dark blue shirt. Our powder blue is still our default shirt. Dark blue is a option. Heather gray pants, USA umpire cap, black belt, shoes, black or dark socks, a dark blue or a gray USA ball bag, plate brush, indicator, flipping coin, And then in the case of the fast pitch umpire, protective gear. This is when our rebranding came in 2017. We went to USA Softball, and as of 2020, which was obviously last year, we want to be in the current uniform. But you know, in your leagues that you have, is it going to kill us if you have an ASA uniform? No, it won't kill us. If you're going to buy a new one, which I would hope you would, you know, we're going from 2017 to 2020, now 2021. So we've got 4 years. So we're about, you know, due to flip over that shirt, just buy a USA Softball one. What I really ask is that you do not wear a competitor's uniform or shirt when you're working USA Softball. These are examples of our powder blue and dark blue. The white is also a approved tournament or league shirt. It does get dirty, it looks nice. The pink is kind of a specialty shirt, you know, in honor of certain events. And then there you can see the USA Softball cap and ball bag. Dallas Apfelbacher is our uniform coordinator, and his contact information is on our website, which is www.mnsoftball.com. It might be a good idea to write that URL down. If you go there, there's tons of information. This is where I was talking about the umpire mechanic manual. Again, if you go to our website, you'll be able to click on that. That's what it looks like. When you click on that, you can download it. You can put it, you know, save it somewhere and reference it at your leisure. That's it for that segment. Now we're going to go through a couple of test questions. And you can see why I wanted to go through this one. On this question, we got 22% correct, which I'd like to get that much higher than that. So let's try and go through this one a little bit. We aren't going to spend a lot of time, but in the second inning, scheduled to bat are B8, B9, B10. Instead of B8, B9 leads off and hits a single. B8 now bats and hits a triple, scoring B9 from first base. B10 now bats and has a no ball, 1 strike count when the defense appeals, batting out of order. So what is the proper ruling? I'll give you some options. B8 is declared out and B10 continues at bat. B8 is declared out and B9 comes to bat. B9 is now the correct batter and assumes a count of no balls and 1 strike. Or B10 is now batting the correct order with a count of no balls and 1 strike. And this is kind of a tough one if we cannot have all the information on it, but the answer is C, because of the timing when they appealed it and who should have been at bat. That would be the answer for that. So C is B9 is now the correct batter and assumes the count. Remember, we had B10 batting. We'll get B9 out of there, or B10 out of there, and B9 assumes that. Okay. Here's one, not really our third question, but it's I took out question 2. So this one only had 31% correct. Here's a mechanic question. So this is probably more in the 2 umpire game, but still in the 1 umpire game, the plate umpire does trail the batter runner. So which statement is true regarding the plate umpire trailing the batter runner? Trail slightly inside the foul line, no more than half the way to first base. On a batted ball with no runners on base or a single runner at first or second, the plate umpire trails the batter runner unless the ball takes them elsewhere. When moving to third base, move directly across the diamond to a location 9 degrees to the path of the runner, 10 to 12 feet from the base. Or all of the above. So the answer is C on that. So what it says is when moving to third base, now what it actually is saying, so we trail the batter runner when there is nobody on base or a runner on first base, okay? So those are the only two scenarios, because otherwise we could have responsibilities at third base. So what it is saying, so if we have a runner at first base, we trail the batter runner until we see that runner approaching second, and then we go to C. So when moving to third base, you move directly across the diamond. So it's, again, questions that are just on a screen are tough. Here is getting to be probably one of our last ones. This one is 34% correct. We got a batter that hits a base hit to right center field. After they have rounded first base, they're driven back to first base by a throw from right center field, which goes offline and gets by the first baseman. The defensive coach steps out of the dugout, retrieves the errant throw, and throws to first base, where the first baseman tags the runner returning to first. The umpire at first base calls the runner out, thinking that the catcher made the throw. And this is a two-umpire game, because that's the only way you're going to have that runner at first base, or that umpire at first base. So the offensive coach protests the out call. The correct ruling would be runner remains out, runner is awarded first base, runner is awarded second base, runner is awarded third base. So the scenario is the runner has achieved first base, throw goes back to first, they're going back towards first, and the throw goes out of play. The basic question on this is, where is the runner awarded on that one? So that is D. Because the runner had achieved first base when the ball went out of bounds, they get two bases. So that's why they're on third base. Okay. This is about a disqualified player. A disqualified player is prohibited from playing, but can remain in a team area or serve as a coach manager. True or false? And that is true. They can still serve as a coach manager if it is egregious enough or serious enough. You can, go eject with the out of sight, out of sound. But, and again, some of these things are league rules rather than USA softball rules. This will be our last one. So the pitcher shall not attempt a quick return of the ball before the batter has taken a position in the batter's box or when the batter is off balance. The penalty is ball in the batter, an illegal pitch is called, no pitch is declared, or the pitcher is ejected. So the rule is B. So what we would do is we would get an illegal pitch on that because that batter wasn't set. Okay. So now I will get out of my screen share and ask if we have any questions at this point. If anybody does, maybe just go out, unmute yourself or turn your video on and let me know. I can also look in the chat and see what we have. Scott Sorensen, did you get the information on where do we purchase the shirts?
I did. I got an answer from our league president. Yeah.
Good. Awesome. Perfect. Sounds good. Let's see. Would it help to ask to check the bats before the game starts? In the slow pitch world, we do not. In the slow pitch league world, we do not check bats before the game starts. The only way we would know about a bat is if you recognize an obvious one that is not on the approved list, or if a coach brings it up to your attention. Some of the things that we can't see with a bat, I mean, when you roll a bat, making it hotter, yes, it's obviously altered, but we have no way of actually seeing that. A compression tester is what would be able to tell that. And at a lot of the large tournaments and things like that, we test the bats with a compression tester. Okay, Dan also said that we've got a men's over 40 wood bat state tournament, the upper deck on August 28th, and I'll get that on the information. We did get that one. Okay, I think we've got everything answered in the chat. And you know, if there's anything else, shout it out and we'll address it. Otherwise, we'll keep going. Good to go? All right.
Yeah, this is Charles Hall. I wanted to know about the where to get the shirts and where the uniforms.
Yeah, Charles, if you go to the chat all the way down, there's a link that says officialgear.com.
Got it.
Yep, that's the place.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Get to what we're going to go through now is the registration examples. What I'll do is show you what it looks like. Obviously, you know, some of that will have to be done on your own, excuse me, to get into it. If you go to our website, you will find a page that looks somewhat like this. And then we have links on there to get to registerusasoftball.com. That is where we register everybody. There is, again, the test code that I talked about for the umpire test. And then here is the link to register. And then there is a registration instructions. So those are some of the things that you'll want to look for when you get onto our website to get to the registration website. And at any time, if you have any trouble, you know, I can do my best to help you and try to get you steered along. I know I've worked with Charles. I'm working with a couple of people. With registration, when you get in, you enter your information. Sometimes it is saved where they will have your stuff and you just click on it and it comes up. You will be asked to apply for a background check. Now that background check is $13, but it's part of your $70 registration. So Dan Pfeffer, again, our commissioner, has decided that for this year, he's going to pay that background check. So that $13 for that is part of your $70 registration. So once you make that $70 payment, it triggers that background check. And then if you umpire any players that are younger than 18, and typically that's the JL Fast Pitch World, then you need to complete a Safe Sport course. That Safe Sport course, there is a link on Register USA that takes you to the Safe Sport course, but it has another login, and then it has a course to complete. This is what it looks like on your login on Register USA. Keep in mind that most people think it's their email or something like that. This is what mine is. It's my name followed by a bunch of numbers that don't mean anything to me. So it's a username that has been assigned to you, and then password is something that you can go ahead and enter. Oops. If you have a problem, and I don't have a wide enough screenshot, but up on top on this page, it says help. If you have any problem, well, here it says forget username or password, or retrieve login, you know, with ID card. So they try to give you some help areas here, but up on top on the right side, there's a help button that if you click that, it'll ask you for information, what your problem is, and it goes directly to this site. So I would encourage you to do that before you call me, because you know it might be something with the site itself. Once you get in to your umpire page, there is where you click on go to my umpire page to start your process. Here is where you click to submit your registration after you've entered your stuff. Oops. I'll go back. If you see the next one on my cursor is, click here to purchase and start your background check. Okay. And then you will go to the next, once it's done, where you click your registration, you'll get a green check on it. And then your background checks, you can see mine has been purchased, already paid. So my background check has cleared. We do not do the ACE education. That is for coaches. So the only thing we do is a background check and safe sport. So here is what, when you click on the safe sport link, this is what your screen will look like. If you need to complete any of these will be in red text. So you can see the first year that you do the safe sport, you have 3 modules, lesson 1, 2, and 3. Year after that, you have a yearly refresher. Year after that, you have a yearly refresher. Year after that, you have a yearly refresher. So because I have worked the JO level for several years, all of mine have been completed. So they'll come up with more testing for me. You know, it continues to go on. It's a yearly thing. If you work, you know, a classification that has players under 18. So there's the link to get to register USA. We're going to mail you a rule book. If you've registered online, paid your fee, applied for a background check, and if you need to, complete your safe sport course. You can also take your test on the site, and again, that code is 1332. So that is the end of it. Is you know, my short and sweet. I didn't want to keep us here too long. I wanted to be out in an hour, and if we don't have a whole lot of questions, we may be out sooner than that. So I'll stop sharing, and let's see if we have any additional questions. Umpires.
I know I got a couple of new guys, and if I ever have to get out there myself and do some umpiring, I just kind of wonder if you can talk through what a legal pitch is and the strike zone and just kind of all that good stuff.
Yeah, you know, I can. In the slow pitch world of USA softball, we need to have 1 foot on the pitching plate. Once the hands have to come together, and once the hands separate, we need 1 continuous motion. It can be slow and then faster, but it needs to be continuous motion. And this is kind of the difference between USA and other organizations. USA softball is the arc limit is 6 feet to 10 feet. It has to be 6 feet high, and it cannot exceed 10 feet high. So the pitch has to come in at an arc between 6 and 10 feet. When it gets to the home plate, we call strikes as if the batter is even with home plate, and a strike is defined as over the edges of the home plate, or over the white part of the home plate, let's say all the way black, over home plate from between the front knee and the back shoulder. So it's as the batter stands at the plate, it has to be above the front knee and below back shoulder. Okay. Does that do it, Phil?
That was helpful, thank you.
Okay. Do you have anything else? You know, maybe if you can think of anything else, I can try to help with.
Infield fly still, that still matters in slow pitch, right?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
You know, and that's a good topic. You know, what are the conditions of an infield fly? When do we call an infield fly?
Yeah. Runners on first and second, or bases loaded with 0 or 1 outs. And it's got to be in the infield. Once it touches the grass, that's considered outfield, right?
Well, not really. And there's a couple things. We have to have runners on first and second, because it has to be you know, it's a.
Oh, yeah, that's my bad. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. So we have to have first, second, and third. It has to be a fly ball that is caught with ordinary effort.
Yep.
So if we have a very windy day and somebody is diving for that, that is not ordinary effort. So on a windy day, we have to take our time before we call that infield fly. And also on an infield fly, the infielders can be on the grass. They just have, need to be facing towards home plate.
Okay,
And
makes sense.
it isn't
Thank
really defined by dirt. So
Yeah, thank you.
okay, good question. Anybody else? Okay, as long as I have, or I hope I have you all here yet. To get attendance credit for this, I'm going to ask you if you have already put in your name and number for rule book, or your name and address for rule book, I'll know you're here. But if you have not done that, put in your name and address for attendance credit, okay, into the chat. Part of why I like to see who attends our clinics is if we have opportunities to do state tournaments or national championships, we want to reward the people that train with us, that fulfill the obligations that we ask them to. So let's see if anything else. What does it say? We've got 2 new messages. Okay, there's some people good. If any of you have a problem getting it in the chat, let me know and just tell me and I can write it down. I suppose what I could do is take a screenshot of what I have here. Okay, did everybody get a chance to put their stuff in the chat?
Yep, I'm here. Jim Cox.
Okay, sounds good. Do we have any other questions?
Nope, we did a good job.
All right, sounds good. Well, this was meant to be a short and sweet one. Let us know what you think. If you like this better, give some feedback and then we can see how it works.
Hey, Tom, I think I'm gonna have to give you a call on it because I'm having trouble getting in.
Yep, that's not a problem.
All right, thanks.
Yep, give me a call, text me, whatever, email me, whatever way it takes. Hey, I appreciate you guys being here tonight. Have a great season.
Thanks, you too.
Thanks.
All right, see ya.
All righty.